Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Jag here, and in today's class we're going to basically continue with our content on grade 9 math, and the topic is on graphing a line using the intercepts. What we're going to do is use the x and y intercepts of the line to basically make a sketch or a graph, okay, of this line. So with that, let's get started. So I have an example written down on the board here. It's 2x minus y equals to 7, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is we're going to find here the x-intercept, and we're going to plug in basically y as 0, okay? I'm going to rewrite the equation on the bottom. So it's 2x minus y equals 7. Instead of writing the y, I'm going to plug in 0, okay? So it's going to be 2x minus 0 equals to 7, okay? And what I'm left with here is 2x equals to 7. And again, this is a simple equation. Make sure you're just dividing by 2 on both sides. Okay, and the 2 cancels out on the left side of the equation. On the right side, I have 7 divided by 2, or basically 3.5. And I'm writing the decimal out here. And the reason for that is because we are going to have to graph out the line. And I want to use the exact value here, okay? So don't leave it as a fraction, okay? And the point here is going to be 3.5 and 0, okay? So this is basically the x-intercept of our line. And next, we're going to write down what the y-intercept is. So I'm going to put y-intercept here, and x is equal to 0, okay? So again, let's write out the original equation. And again, instead of writing the x, I'm going to plug in 0. So we're going to do 2 times 0 minus y equals to 7, okay? And what you have here, what I'm left with is negative y equals 7, okay? The y value cannot be negative here. So what you're doing is dividing by negative 1 on both sides, okay? So y is equal to negative 7, okay? So it's not positive 7 here. Okay, and the point is going to be 0 and negative 7. So again, make sure you're watching when you're writing the x and y intercepts as a point. Make sure you're watching where you're putting the 0 value, okay? So using these 2 points, which are the intercepts, I can actually very easily graph out this equation. Okay, so on the board, we're basically going to put a small sketch here. When you're graphing it at home, make sure you are using graph paper to making it very accurate here. All right, and so we're going to do 3.5. Okay, and you can just go up by ones here. Okay, so it's 3.5 and 0. Okay, and the y-intercept is 0 and negative 7. I'm going to take a scale and go by 2s. Okay, and again, make sure you're just labeling it as well, okay? So it's going to be 0 and negative 7, which is right here. Okay, and now I can see that I have 2 points, okay, for my equation. I'm going to take a ruler and join the points together. All right, and that forms my line. Again, I only need 2 points on this line to actually show how it looks. Make sure you're putting arrows on both sides of the line, and that shows that the line just keeps on going in both directions, okay? And as soon as you graph it out, make sure you're writing the equation of the line right beside it. So I'm going to write it on top here, so 2x minus y equals 7, okay? Sometimes your teacher might have you graph 2 lines on the same graph, and that's the reason that we're writing the equation right beside it, so the teacher can see what the graph looks like. Okay, are there any questions so far? Okay, that looks good. With that, let's try one more example here. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. Okay, this example is also very similar here. Okay, this time it's given completely in standard form. Okay, so it's going to be 3x minus 5y plus 15 equals 0. Okay, and I know this is the standard form of the line. Okay, the value in front of x is positive, okay, and the whole equation is equal to 0. All right, with that, let's get started. So the question says, for each linear relation, determine the x and y intercepts and graph the line. Okay, let's start off with the x-intercept. So again, we're going to plug in y as 0, okay. In the original equation, instead of writing So let me write out the original equation here, okay? Instead of writing the y, I'm going to plug in 0. So I have 3x minus 5 times 0 plus 15, okay, equals to 0. So this is a very simple equation. We're going to take the 15 to the other side. It's positive on the left side, okay, and on the right side it's going to be negative. So we're going to do 3x equals negative 15, okay, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 3, and so x is equal to negative 5. Okay, so I hope everyone's getting the same answer. You should be trying the question on your own as well, okay? So my point here is negative 5 and 0, just like that, okay? And now we're going to find the y-intercept. So when you're doing the y-intercept, make sure you're plugging in x as 0, okay? So if you want, you can again write out the original equation, okay? And that's what I usually do. I always write the original equation before I plug in my value as 0. That way I don't mess up any of the signs, okay? So instead of writing the x, we're going to put 0. So plus 15 equals 0, okay? Again, I'm going to take the 15 to the other side. It's positive on the left side. On the right side, it has to be negative, okay? So negative 5y equals negative 15, like that, okay? And in the last step, we're going to divide by negative 5 on both sides. Okay, and y is equal to positive 3. Okay, again, when you write it as a point, it's 0 and 3. Okay, is everyone good so far? And again, make sure you are getting the same answers here. Whenever you're writing the numbers in brackets, okay, make sure you don't revert this. This is not 3 and 0, okay? Because this is the y-intercept, the x point has to be 0, so it's going to be 0 and 3, okay? So let's try sketching out a graph here. And again, I'm just going to sketch out the graph. You're using graph paper at home. And I'm going to plot out these 2 points. So let's start off with negative 5 and 0. I'm going to put x and y, okay, so we don't get confused. So again, I'm moving to the left on my graph. So that's where negative 5 is, okay? And I'm going to make a dot there, negative 5 and 0. Okay, and again, remember that the dots aren't going to be somewhere like in the quadrants. It has to be on the x and y axis because we are only using the x and y intercepts to graph the line. All right, and our second point is 0 and 3. Again, it's 0 and positive 3. So I'm going to go up to 3. Okay, and we're going to make a dot there. All right, and I can see now that I have 2 points here. What I'm going to do is use my ruler and we're going to join the dots together. Again, make sure you are using a ruler here. Okay, I'm going to freehand it here. And you have to make sure you put 2 arrows on both sides, okay? So some teachers might take off a mark for that, or maybe like half a mark. And I don't want to lose that mark for something really small, okay? And again, the 2 arrows show that the line keeps on moving in both directions, okay? And it just keeps on going. And what is the last thing I should do here for my graph? Does everyone remember? We have to make sure we are writing the equation of the line right beside the graph, okay, that you drew out. So I'm going to write it on the bottom here. So 3x minus 5y plus 15 equals to 0, okay? And again, the reason we're writing the equation of the line beside the graph, or whichever line we draw out, is so the teacher can see where the line is, okay? If you want to actually check your answer and see if it's correct, again, this is the standard form of the equation. What I can do is change it into the slope-intercept form, okay? And then that will give me the exact slope and the y-intercept of the equation of this line, okay? And if you're not sure how to change from the standard form into the slope-intercept form, you can check out one of my last videos and that's what we covered. And it is important that you're able to do that. When I change it into the slope-intercept form, it will tell me whether the slope of this line is positive or negative, okay? And again, I know in this case that basically the line is moving in the upwards direction here. So I know that the slope of this line has to be positive. Okay, so that's actually a good mental check to do, okay? And if the slope was negative, the line wouldn't be going upwards, it would actually be going downwards in the opposite direction. Alright, so that brings this video to an end. I hope you learned how to actually graph a line using the X and Y intercepts, because it is actually a very important concept. And if you did learn something, please make sure you're clicking on the like button below and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see everyone next time. Bye!